All right, let's peel back the layers on some of the most powerful machines ever built. These aren't just cars, they're statements. We're talking about rolling thunder on four wheels, the absolute monsters of the road.
No, seriously, just think about that for a second. What if a car is so powerful it feels like it's bending reality, where you hear it coming like a storm on the horizon long before you ever see it?
And here's the crazy part. In a world that's all about going electric, right? These combustion titans, these glorious, loud, unapologetic petrol-powered monsters, well, they're not just hanging on. They are at the absolute peak of their power. And today, we're going to find out why.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Time to meet the real monsters of the road.
First things first, before we get into all the crazy numbers, let's get on the same page about what power even means. Because, it's not just about a top speed. It's way more than that. It's a whole experience. It's that deep guttural roar from the engine, that vibration you literally feel in your bones. And yeah, that kind of scary feeling of controlling something that is just insane.
And to really get it, we're going to look at three completely different faces of power. You've got the pure technical dominance of Bugatti, the raw aggression of Lamborghini, and then something totally different, the quiet authority of Rolls-Royce.
So we've got to start with Bugatti. I mean, we just have to. Because when you talk about engineering that pushes every single limit for just one goal, yeah, Bugatti's playing a different game. Their whole reason for being is just pure, unfiltered domination.
Okay, look at that number. Just let it sink in. Over 1,500 horsepower. That's just absurd. To give you some perspective, your average car on the road may be 150 horsepower. This is 10 times that. We are literally talking about fighter jet levels of power, somehow packed into a car you can legally drive on the street. It's wild.
And what does that feel like? Well, honestly, it's kind of terrifying. It's a speed that's so extreme, it feels like you're ripping a hole in the fabric of space-time. This isn't just driving. This is a full-on battle with the laws of physics.
So how on earth do they do it? Well, here it is. The heart of this beast is a monster W16 engine. The easiest way to think about it is like taking two big V8s and smashing them together. Then you add 4 turbochargers to just cram air into it. It is an absolute engineering masterpiece, built for one reason and one reason only, to break every single record out there.
All right, let's switch things up and talk about our next titan. If Bugatti is like a scalpel, precise and clinical, Lamborghini is a sledgehammer. Forget quiet efficiency. This is all about being the loudest, the most aggressive, the most in-your-face statement on four wheels.
I mean, just look at the Revuelto. This is Lamborghini. You've got that incredible naturally aspirated V12 engine that just screams its head off. Performance that literally pushes you back in your seat. And a design that looks like it was chiseled out of an angry shard of glass. You don't just drive a Lamborghini to get somewhere. You drive it to announce to the world that you are here.
Okay, deep breath. We're about to do a complete 180. We're leaving the world of screaming engines and insane speeds and entering a totally different universe. Let's talk about Rolls-Royce. This is where power doesn't shout, it whispers.
And this really breaks it down, doesn't it? On one hand, you have the speed and pure aggression of Bugatti and Lamborghini. And on the other, you've got the quiet, commanding presence of a Rolls-Royce. It is a totally different kind of dominance, one that has absolutely nothing to prove with a lap time.
The Phantom is the perfect example of this. Yes, it's also got a massive V12 under the hood, but it's built for something else entirely. It's engineered for smooth, silent, effortless strength. The power is absolutely there, tons of it, but it comes on so smoothly it feels like you're being carried along by some invisible hand.
And that's really the whole point. A Rolls-Royce doesn't need to race you. It doesn't have to. Its power comes from its presence alone. It dominates the road just by being there, It just radiates this aura of pure luxury and authority.
So, you might be wondering, how in the world do they actually build these things? How do engineers pull off these completely different kinds of extreme power? Well, let's go under the hood.
It really all boils down to pushing every single part to its absolute breaking point. You've got things like quad turbochargers that are basically industrial-sized air pumps, just jamming oxygen into the engine to make the explosions bigger. You've got fuel systems that are more precise than a surgeon, and materials that come straight out of the space program just to handle all the stress. I mean, these aren't cars anymore. They're mechanical monsters.
But here's the thing. When you create this much power, you run into a huge problem.
It's a paradox, really, and it's at the core of all this extreme engineering. And here's the truth of it all. Making 1,000+ horsepower, that's actually the easy part. The really hard part? Figuring out how to control it, how to make it usable, and, how to keep it from ending in a catastrophic disaster. Because at these speeds, one tiny little mistake, and it's all over.
And this is maybe the most important thing to understand. All that horsepower means absolutely nothing if you can't actually get it to the ground. That's why these cars are also masterpieces of aerodynamics, to literally suck them onto the road. They have chassis that are unbelievably stiff, and supercomputers for brains that are managing the power every single millisecond. Because without control, power is just noise. So, we've looked at the insane numbers, the mind-bending engines, these different ways of thinking about power. Which brings us to one last big question. What is true power, anyway?
Maybe it isn't just a number on a piece of paper. Maybe true power is the whole experience. It's that first sound when the engine fires up. It's that punch in the stomach feeling when you accelerate. It's the feeling of being strapped into a machine that is operating right on the ragged edge of what's possible.
And I think that's really the bottom line. It doesn't matter if it's the face-melting speed of a Bugatti, the rebellious scream of a Lamborghini, or that silent, commanding presence of a Rolls-Royce. Real power, it's defined by the experience. It's a feeling. It's not just a statistic.
So that leaves us with just one last thing to chew on. As we keep pushing these limits, building cars that can literally accelerate faster than our minds can even keep up, are we getting to a point where this is just too much power for a person to actually handle?